Thank you so much.
Everyone's complaining about these chairs. I think they're fine.
Yeah. Mic check. Are we all wired up?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Are you going to moderate, or should we just start speaking?
Oh no, I am not moderating. You two are having a fireside chat. I am the intro person.
Okay, got it. Well, Sebastian.
Well, let me make some space so that we can look at each other. Yeah.
We can look at each other. Yes.
Yeah.
So, as an interior designer, what do you think of these chairs? Are they going to work for us?
No comment.
And there you have it, folks. Okay. So happy to meet you, and happy that you have this lofty position for Crate and Barrel, which is a very, very famous brand around the world, and I certainly am a customer as well. And so here we're talking about business models and use cases for the metaverse. And what I'd like to say to the audience is, this is really where the rubber meets the road. This is really like everyone's talking about the metaverse. But here, Sebastian, it's a real live use case, a real live customer. You guys will probably, once this thing is done, be buying your furnishings, using the metaverse that is being built by him, because it will make your shopping experiences much more engaging, much more efficient. There's that. So you'll talk about that. I'm talking his role. I'm sorry about that. My role is, so we are the game engine the finance engine for the games world. That's our sister company, Xsola. We power up 10,000 video games, and we are responsible for billions of dollars worth of in-game item commerce. So if you ever bought a sword, a shield, in-game currency in any game like Roblox or Fortnite or PUBG or Grand Theft Auto or any number of these things, they use our back-end clearinghouse. And we have 300 million paid accounts, which represents 10% of the actual buyers of the 3 billion audience who are gamers. It's a big market. So what we're doing is we're taking that fintech, that very, very robust fintech engine, and we're applying it to the creator economy. And our role in the metaverse is to be the future of commerce, how you're going to buy things. So you can see the relationship here, how this is really exciting for us. But anyways, thank you for joining me in this wonderful
My
panel.
pleasure, and thank you so much for The Economist for bringing us together to share ideas and knowledge, and for you to invite me to the stage to chat with you. I guess a little bit about Crate and Barrel, and our mission and our values, which are really the foundation of everything we will do. We've been around the world for 60 years. We're a 60-year-old brand. We just celebrated our anniversary a couple months ago. And our guiding principle and values has always been to help build homes with beauty, purpose, and value. And as we start to think about building the future, the same guiding principles will apply, right? You and I were talking last week, and we were saying that in the adoption of technology or services and goods, there's always 3 waves of everything. First wave is when it goes from novelty to commodity, which is the wave that we're pretty much surfing in right now. The second wave is when it goes from commodity to culture, which will come over time. I'm certain of it. And then the third wave is when it goes from culture to consumerism, which is really, the abundance of wide adoption, right?
I like that methodology.
Yeah,
That's really, really brilliant.
You can find it in history. History has all the answers. And if you think about the e-commerce boom more than 2 decades ago and the social media boom 10 years ago, this is in a way as transformational for business as e-commerce was, right? It's just how we kind of, I guess it's for all the people here today and for all the leaders that we've been hearing about to build it and build it for the future with intention, with lasting intention and purpose, right? So what does that mean for commerce? And I guess I can talk a little bit about challenges and red flags, right? Because we were talking about this earlier, and we found a lot of common ground there is drown the hype, right? We have to drown the hype. We're in this first wave of novelty, right? So
Yes.
how do we think with intention and not lose sight and focus of the true potential of what the metaverse can be and the overlap that exists in that Venn diagram between the metaverse and Web3, right? How can it enrich people's lives and be powerful, right? Because the way that we see it, right, and this is the privilege of working for a private brand, right? We're more long-term focused versus chasing revenue or quarterly earnings and just driving top line, right? And the applications for this technology and this new paradigm go beyond just what's consumer facing, right?
Yes.
Which is what we are so excited about to talk about, but also employee engagement, education, tools, technology, and internal sort of culture and community building that can help unleash revenue, especially as we look at the next 2 years and the potential recession, right? How are we smart about investing into ways that will make an impact? And yeah, we're in no rush to build, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you about your ideas and what you're up to, because we've heard a lot about interoperability, accessibility today, and the user experience and how that is paramount. And I think what you offer and what you do, which is to drive seamless transactions, be able to build seamlessly and with freedom in the virtual domain, which is boundless, is absolutely critical and important to how we shape this.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sebastian. That's exactly our perspective. I think generally a lot of people make a lot of effort to say, what is the metaverse? The metaverse is the experience with goggles on. The metaverse is this. The metaverse is that. I can argue till I'm blue in the face in terms of like saying, is Web3 the metaverse? Is Web3 separate than the metaverse and all that? And guys, I just want to make it very clear. It doesn't matter. It's just all a construct of definitions that you can, I don't know, you went to a design school in Milan, right? So I can call it il metaverso, and we can go off and you can call it whatever you want. What is important though, is that you really want to create that experience. So, in classic marketing, we talk about product market fit, right? But now we're in the era where we're talking about brand experience fit. And everything what we're doing is experiential. All the metaverse really is, and by the way, it shouldn't be called the metaverse, I don't think. It should be just called the Crate and Barrel experience. Or it should be called, if you're in automotive, the automotive experience. So this is where it doesn't matter. We spend so much time stovepiping. So, sorry, economists, I don't mean to say anything wrong about your metaverse summit. I'm just saying you're really about, what is this fervor all about and what's real? And what's real is those end experiences that fit the market, whether it's a commerce context you want to build here, whether it's an experiential context, whether it's a gaming context. I could make an argument also that those 10,000 games that we support are actually metaverses. They're built on Unreal Engine 5 and 4 and Unity and whatnot. You can make an experience that there's a social web, that's another context. But the context, that experience needs to fit the brand. And we don't, we do care, but in the sense of making the brand experience to it, but we don't care in the sense of we'll work with whatever that brand wants to create together that creates, a better user engagement, a more synergistic environment, and it makes everyone, saying like, I'm glad this exists. This is actually perfect for me, as opposed to, I'm supposed to go there because of some new thing, and then you put the goggles on, you're like going, that was cool for 5 minutes, and then what do I do here? Well, we're about, multi-platform, as Sebastian said. It could be that experience. It could be just a website, which you call a meta site. It could be on a mobile device, so it could be a metaverse in every pocket. It's dimensional. You add dimensions, you add platforms. So we're about being agnostic to all that. If I confused everyone, the bottom line is, let's just be agnostic to, whether you call it Web3 or Web2 or Metaverse this or whatever it is. We're just going to basically engineer, develop the tools that are needed to enable these new experiences.
Yeah, and to your point, without losing sight that the metaverse is a concept, there is one metaverse, right? And it's a public good.
Right.
And good and smart brand behavior matters, right? In order for us to really unleash the true potential of this. And it's important to, back to use cases and scenarios, to always put, I like how Tony used the word citizen at the center. I thought that was so thoughtful of everything we do. If you think about it today, it's expensive to build. The user experience is fragmented. How are we really adding and building value, right? In order for commerce to exist in a way that is progressive and evolved, right? So what does that mean too? It doesn't, very easily as a brand, Crate and Barrel could be like, okay, we're launching furniture and we're gonna furnish the metaverse and we're gonna use all these platforms for it. But I don't know if that's where we wanna start or where we wanna go. I think, again, going back to potential and innovation, this virtual domain, which I said earlier is boundless, right? Can also unlock innovation and imagination in the physical domain, right? And in retail, we talk a lot about channels. This is common jargon, right? You have your brick and mortar, which is physical retail. You have your digital channels, which are e-commerce, social, etc. And very quickly, I'm seeing brands assume the role that, okay, the metaverse is just another channel for consumer-to-consumer interaction, consumer-to-business interaction. But the way I see it is it's more of a dimension, right? That needs to add either inspiration or experience or support in your whatever experience you're looking for, right? Think about visualization, right? We're in the world of interiors. Visualizing in a way that feels three-dimensional and real is paramount, right? And with that, I think our industry can help evolve aesthetic inclusivity, right? Why
Yes.
right now is a lot of the aesthetic that we're seeing being built so rooted in gaming, which in reality, they're the true pioneers in this space, and they have been building and living in the metaverse for so long, right? But how can that evolve at the same time? And going back to innovation too, and putting the citizen at the center, right? And investing in the citizen at the center can unlock decentralized brand behavior too, which to me is like so powerful as a concept and a paradigm, right? Because what that means is that, take for instance today, I work with a team in Chicago, and we're a centralized team of designers, and our brand behavior and our brand ethos is centralized, right? We make all those decisions. In a future evolved sort of Web3 structure and metaverse environment, we could invite creators to co-create from our codes, reaching new audiences, building more inclusive design product, and just being more intelligent about consumer behavior and building community. So that's just some of the use cases that where our mind is going versus just racing to claim a stake or build 3D furniture or create a digital twin of our stores. It needs to be much more considerate than that and less literal. So we're in no rush. It's great to meet partners like you, and I think everything remains to be seen.
So as we're closing here, so being too literal, I think, is the problem. I mean, by the way, I had the pleasure of meeting Neil Stephenson. He really was, one of the great authors, that I enjoyed meeting. But I think that everyone took this whole thing too literal. And by that sense, then there should be U-Haul in the metaverse, because then you put on the goggles and stay in your U-Haul storage unit. So let's be real about that. Okay, but here's the thing about dimensionality, that if you think about a metaverse construct, it's a 3D visualization, it's a 3D simulation. That's 3 dimensions, right? Let's call that the metaverse, as we are talking about. But if you think about the inclusivity, if you think what you're just talking about, it's one-dimensional, like unit, which we're sometimes calling an NFT. By the way, terrible name. We should revamp that. But it really is a microverse. If you think about that, it's one-dimensional. It basically says, I'm connected to you. I'm connected to Crate and Barrel. I love that brand. I'm connected to chocolate because I love chocolate. I'm connected to Audi because I love Audi. I'm also connected to these sports. I'm also connected to all that. And it's like multi-dimensional things. And by the way, so you can say that's a cookie. No, there's a big difference, because basically the whole Web3 ethos is you're in control. It's decentralized. If you're an Uber driver now, you can be the Uber company. If you're a music artist, you could be the music label. And if you are an end consumer, you could be the funnel. And you can do your own analytics and figure out, I don't want to be connected to that anymore. I want to be connected to this. And I would imagine you only want to work with those people who actually authenticity, they really truly enjoy your brand. Because those are the people who are going to be, yes, I want to co-create these experiences.
Yeah.
And that's another context, right?
Yeah.
Those are the creator economy.
Yeah, and easier said than done to be involved in a community in a way that is authentic, to your point. And I think that will go beyond the transactional element of just trading assets and NFTs.
Just blowing out like spam messages.
It needs to be deeper than that,
Right.
and connections need to be meaningful and valuable and be at the core of the human experience, and how that's going to adapt as we evolve our way of interacting with technology. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Are we doing Q&A?
We
or?
have 1 minute for one question. No pressure. I have a question. So, Sebastian, I love what you said about not steaming in, and not thinking of it as just something we already have. So when you think about when you do go in, how are you going to leverage imagination and that surprise and delight for your customers?
Yeah, so I use this analogy a lot. One of the greatest architects of our time, Zaha Hadid, The pace of technology was not evolving as fast as her mind. And for years, she designed buildings that could never be built. You know, incomes, 3D rendering, CGI, computer-generated imaging and engineering, and all of a sudden, her buildings, after her death, her untimely death, are being built all over the world, right? So to me, it's the same way. What if we look at the way that we launch product or the way that we approach product development and starting in the virtual domain without any constraints, and how we can gather customer intelligence, build community around it, understand affinity, taste, ideas, and then bring it into the physical domain and create without those limiting boundaries that exist today, right? I think that there's so much opportunity to leverage that as an innovation incubator for the future. And I'm very fascinated by that. Decentralizing brand behavior and design codes is something that I think is the future of fashion, home, and any type of
automotive
product, service.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.